Says that we are live on my end.
All right. Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in tonight. I'm Andrew Foy, joined by my partner, Marshall Kauffman, for another edition of In the Ring with King's Promotions. Tonight, we're very excited about the two guests we have. This show is going to feature up-and-coming trainers from Philadelphia. So we have Mr. Greg Hackett and Rashad Brown. And I'll let them introduce themselves, a little bit about who they train. So, Greg, why don't you go first?
Greg Hackett. I've been training professional fighters for the last 8 years. I done worked on the shit. Showtime, HBO, ESPN. Only network I ain't hit yet is The Zone. And I worked the likes of Gabriel Rosado, Joey DeWaco, Todd and Think May. I mean, a bunch of names.
How about you, Rashad?
Yeah, my name is Rashad Brown, former fighter. I started training because I caught an eye injury, a detached retina in 2011. And once I caught a detached retina, I started training fighters probably like 4 years ago. I'm still fairly new, but I just had early good success from, just the knowledge that I had in the game myself. And, just started training. I trained a couple fighters, Brandon Robinson, which y'all know he was on the segment last week. Brandon Mullins, which he's an undefeated fighter from Newark, Delaware, and Sugar Sheet Johnson, which he's on a come up and type 1 diabetic, and he fight 2 fights in one night. So I'm proud of my guys and proud of what I got.
Did you mention oh my goodness, the 47-pounder, 54.
Rashid Johnson?
No.
You're talking about
Umberger.
I don't train Umberger, but I got part management with him, but I don't train him per se.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool. So you're still a baby in the game. Greg's been around a long time.
But I'm the rookie of the year, man, for a reason.
So Greg's like the veteran in the game.
Yeah, you could say that, but veterans get pushed to the side, and the up and coming newcomers always come about.
Well, look, honestly, I mean, I see Greg as being a young and upcoming trainer as well. And he's got a lot of respect. He also, I know he has some little drama with a couple guys out there. He's talking about when he trained Gabe Rosado and he had that big fallout out there. Who was it that you were fighting with out there over with Gabe?
That was
somebody with Golden Boy, right?
Shane Mosley, Chris.
Oh,
it's funny.
Listen, so I got some questions for you guys before Andrew asks the trivia questions. What is it that you think? This message is for Greg. What is it that you think makes a good trainer?
Oh man, to me, I think the first thing is understanding what you're dealing with. A lot of times, guys just see a guy. They just see a fighter. They might see the muscles, they might see the athleticism, and they kind of just go with it, and they never think about the adjustments that need to be made. So that's why I think the number one thing is understanding who you're dealing with. The second thing is you definitely got to be patient. You got to love what you do, and I mean you gotta realize like you're gonna have good days and you're gonna have bad days. You know what I'm saying? Not every day is perfect. I've never seen a guy have a camp where every day was perfect. You know what I'm saying? It never happens that way because we all have family. We all have families of our own. We all have jobs and we have responsibilities. You know what I mean? So things come up. You know what I mean? But so a guy who can understand that he's going to go through things, it could be a great trainer.
No, that's facts. Look, I'll give you a quick example. When I was training Centron, we were getting ready for Teddy Reed, who could punch, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so we're in camp and every day was a bad day. I mean, it was rough. Like, I'm like, man, we're in trouble, right? We get to the fight and he put on a show. You know what I mean? So you had those, you had those type of days. And I remember I used to tell the guy that was partners with me, I was like, look, just relax. It ain't the fight. Come fight day, let's see what happens. But I was nervous, don't get me wrong. Because I was like, man, camp was bad. You know what I mean? Like every day he was getting whooped. He was like, dudes that he knocked out in fights before that we had in camp, they were whooping him. You know what I mean? I was like, man, this just ain't right. But come fight time, he did what he was supposed to do. And I think that's what really counts. You know what I mean? That's the most important part come fight time. You know what I mean?
Right.
Some guys, some young trainers, and I say young trainers more so because they don't have the experience, look at that when they're having bad days and they'd be like, man, this ain't right. I don't think we should take the fight. We should pull out. But you have to just weather the storm, and know that come fight time is the most important time, as long as they perform.
Yeah.
What about you, Rashad? What do you think makes a good trainer?
Kind of to piggyback off of what Greg said, it's a lot, but I think you got to have an understanding, general knowledge of the game first. And like you said, like you got some trainers out there that never fought before, that learned it from a book and had great success. They one of a kind, but I think you got to experience it, know the emotions, know what it takes to be a winner and stuff like that. So you got to know the game, have an understanding, and then you got to be able to teach it, not just do it yourself. Everybody that fought can't be a teacher. So you got to know how to break it down and have a good understanding on how to teach it, to display it to your fighters, and work off your fighters' natural abilities as well. Enhance what they already come with. Like some fighters come already with long arms, great height. So you got to know how to approach every fighter. You can't train the same. So you just got to know what you're working with and learn how to display it.
There's a lot of trainers out there that have been giving gifts. And what I mean by that, guys like Freddie Roach, Buddy McGirt, Emmanuel Stewart, the guys with the big names, like they've been giving guys who are like already like world-class fighters when they're turning pro.
Correct.
They might have had 10 fights already. It's like a trainer who took over for Oscar De La Hoya in his early career, or trainers who are taking over for, say, Ryan Garcia, or, just guys like that. They're given that talent right off the back. You know what I mean? So sometimes I think it's easy. It makes it easier for that trainer to look good. I mean, I remember, like, could you imagine if you went in to train Floyd Mayweather when he was already like 20-0?
Yeah.
Look good. You look like the man already. You know what I mean? So I think the work is easy when it comes to that point. I think what's hard, in my opinion, is taking a fighter from the root to the fruit. You know what I mean? And that I think that's like the hardest thing when you show them how to jab. You got to, like what Greg said earlier, having patience. When you put them on the line and you're teaching them how to jab, how you teach them how to stand, how you teach them how to step, how you teach them how to slip and punch. You know what I mean? All those things. I think that, to me, is one of the best trainers. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. You need the trainers that can make adjustments later on in a fighter's career. But I think those trainers don't get the respect that they deserve. You know what I mean? Guys take a fighter from the beginning all the way to the end. You know what I mean? Would you agree with me?
Yeah, correct. Definitely. Everything you're saying, you definitely hitting good aspects. And you're absolutely right.
You know what
I mean? And I notice it in the game right now, too, that you got a lot of fighters a lot of trainers that actually could teach and good in the gym and all that stuff. But when it comes to the corner, they don't know how to get in the fighter mental to give them the motivation and stuff like that. So it got to be more than just physical. I realize, too, it got to be the mental aspect as well, knowing how to talk to them, knowing how to, encourage them when they down in a couple rounds and stuff like that, too. So it's mentally and physically as well.
Right. Gee, who would we all look up to somebody, whether it's through boxing. If you're a boxer, you're looking up to another boxer and you try to emulate what they do. If you're a basketball player, now everybody's talking about LeBron or Kobe, and they used to look at Michael Jordan. Who would you look to, Greg, as a trainer? Who was the trainer that you looked up to as you were coming up?
I mean, as I was coming up, it was plenty of great trainers around. We still have Bozy Ennis around. We still have Reverend Azim. We still have my trainer Kevin Carmody. I pick pieces from each one of their games. Cornbread down at Marion Anderson. You got Mr. Mitch Allen. You had it's so many great trainers in Philly. And then one of the trainers I never got to meet, but I always paid attention to what I could, was Georgie Benton. Georgie Benton was real confident in the corner. His information was straight to the point, and you can tell he was watching the fight, like really paying attention to the fight, because his information went right along with the fight. So, I mean, I'll pay attention to anybody really. Like one of the guys right now that I pay attention to who I really have no connections with is Manny Robles, the Mexican trainer out of California who was working with Ruiz. So you know what I mean? I'm just some type of guy who will watch anybody. I'll pay attention to anybody.
Right. The it's funny you say that about a trainer having to have confidence because we talk about we have to instill confidence in our fighters sometimes in things that we do, maybe by giving them easier sparring or just continue to reassure them that they're good. That's so important that a trainer also has to have that confidence. You know what I mean? I personally used to look up to Manny Stewart, because I never seen him in the gym, but I always seen what he did in the corner and how he made those adjustments, those subtle adjustments from one fight to another, you know what I mean? And how he handled it with the fighters. So that was one I used to always look up to. What about you, Rashad?
I look up to, I got a lot of guys that I look up to on the local level, but if you want to say like mainstream, which like probably everybody know their name, I really look up to Virgil Hunter. And I say that because I got a real calm demeanor. Like I'm really not an aggressive dude. I'm really a laid back dude. So it's funny when I watch his style and his approach and how he could get to the fighter just with his calm demeanor. And sometimes it calms the fighter down when he's over aggressive and he's hyped. And I think we got a lot of similarities just with our demeanor outside the ring. And I really look up to him because he's a thinker like me and he's my own manner. So he's know how to get this information across without yelling, cussing, and smacking the guy in the face. And that's really not my approach. So I'm a Virgil Hunter guy.
That's good, man. And I see that. I really do. I see that in you, man. Because Virgil Hunter is like that. I mean, yeah. Another thing I want to ask, listen, and I need both of you to answer this. How would you teach a fighter to avoid getting hit by right hands?
Go ahead.
There's different ways. Go ahead, Rashad.
It's multiple ways, but I pretty much I would teach just if the guy got a strong right hand, I would just teach him to step off the line and circle to the fighter's right, just to get out the way of it. Forget trying to slip it because you might get caught with one of them bombs. Forget trying to block it. I'd rather step off the line and slide to the right just to take the gun away, take the right hand away. So
to slide to his right hand or to slide away from his right hand?
I want to slide away from the right hand. Just get away from it totally.
So more so towards your right.
Correct.
Right. All right.
Correct.
Is it what? Greg, give me another example.
For me, I'm big on distance. So as long as we a step ahead, we'll never get hit with a right hand. You know what I mean? I'm big on footwork. I'm big on guys staying busy. So my thing would be keep your left hand up high if you're an orthodox fighter. If you are a southpaw fighter, it's the same thing still with the left hand. But what you want to do is you want to head at one step ahead on the guy. So if he just is blink, anything is blink or sweat, you see sweat drip off his, make sure you take a step, like Rashad said, off of the line, or at least break the distance, taking a step back.
Mm-hmm. What happens in the later rounds when that fighter's getting fatigued and that step isn't a step ahead like it was in the early rounds? What other ways are there to avoid the right hand?
Well, pretty much like I said, when a fighter is getting tired, let's say that in the later rounds his legs is going, I like the method drop under the right hand. So if he's throwing the right hand, let's drop under it. Then we could come to the body or we could slide out. So if we can't use the legs, I want to drop under the right hand.
Okay, what about you, G?
That's it. That's actually a good one. And just to add on to that, I would crowd the right hand. So I would step into you as I'm seeing you step, I'm stepping into you with my left hand up. Like Rashad said, I'm dropping just a little bit, just enough to get up under the right hand. I'm crowding the punch. And that way I'm able to counter too.
Mm-hmm. The one thing I haven't heard any of you say though was using that jab. Okay. So many people think that jab is only for offense. You think about that jab. You shoot that jab enough and high enough, they never get that right hand off. Whether they're trying to loop it, whether they're trying to throw it straight. So that's another thing. Another thing is just slipping that right hand with your, dropping your right shoulder and coming back with the hook.
Right.
So that was another thing. But the jab to me was one of the most important things because so many people forget that you can defend the right hand with the jab. You know what I mean? And one thing I always used to tell my guys, like if someone has a dominant right hand, using your jab, using the opposite hand does so much more. You know, so if your right hand is dominant, I gotta make my left hand be even more dominant. You know what I mean? And that's, or sliding off to the right. I did that. If you watch the Cintron and Teddy Reed fight, I did that with Cintron. I had him sliding off to the right, and he was able to do that, but he always had to pump his jab during that time, and he avoided that right hand. You know what I mean? And which was the big key for success, I thought, in my opinion. You know, when training a fighter, to you, what's the most important thing? And this is for you, Greg: offense or defense? If you had to pick one of the two, what's going to be the most important thing for you?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I say defense because I don't want to leave with my guy knocked out. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to leave with that's number one goal. I don't want you knocked out because I got to look your mother in the eyes. I got to look your kids in the eyes. I got to look your spouse in the eyes. You know what I'm saying? And even if it's not my fault, I take it as my fault. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm your handler. So that I would say defense first. You know?
Okay. That brother Nazim was the same way. And he's the same way with that. What about you, Rashad?
To be honest, I say offense because I got a little Mexican in me. I like Mexican warrior. So I think a lot of times when you got a guy who, you know, if he's punching, he's banging, and then you go onto the defensive side, you just giving him confidence. But if you punch him right back off of that, you might slow that guy down like, whoa, this guy not too defensive minded. Let me slow my roll. So I like offense, Mexicano.
That's good. But yeah, look, and let's face it, you need a combination of both, right?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? For real. All right, cool. Well, look, I think we went over a few things. Andrew's sitting over there anticipating these questions. I think he's anxious to, you know, put it out there and see who's going to be victorious. And we want you, the people, to tune in and give us some questions as well. If you got some questions for these two young upcoming trainers, you know, keep your eye on these guys because they're going to do something special in the years to come. So go ahead, Andrew, fire away.
Yeah, so before I get to the questions, I just wanted to touch on something that Rashad mentioned. You know, I didn't want to interrupt Marshall since he's a fitness and, you know, I don't really have those credentials. But one thing I see from a lot of trainers, especially when they're dealing with new fighters, is most trainers have one style that they teach. Fighters will naturally think based on their athleticism or whatnot. There's really like 4 to 6 main styles that a fighter can kind of adopt when they start. Would you guys agree? It's not one way. I mean, you know, depending on the stance that they take or where they kind of will, whether they're more weight on their front foot versus their back foot, but still keeping their weight centered. And I see the really good trainers will kind of, you know, mold a guy so that they kind of optimize the natural talent and style that they have, as opposed to kind of fitting them maybe sometimes if they don't fit into their one style. What do you guys think about that?
Go ahead, Greg.
With me, when it comes to styles, I feel like the styles are actually endless. I don't think it's even like 6 or 7. I think it's endless because when you talk about styles, you're talking about a guy's what would you call it? His mannerisms. Like, you know, I seen guys do so much shit like that didn't make sense, but then again, it made sense for them. Like I had a guy that I was training who would block hooks. He would block hooks with his arms straight out, and he would cover his chin like this, and he would block the hooks like that. And I'm like, bro, you can't throw from there. But then I seen him do it. So then I'm like, oh shit, like he can, you know, he's creating his own style of fighting. So what I'm realizing about boxing is sometimes where a guy has his own style and his own way of doing things, sometimes you should keep that. And then sometimes you should adjust the little things where that's, you know, he might do certain shit that get him in trouble, certain things that get him in trouble. So then you make adjustments to that. But for the most part, you want a guy to embrace his style because it makes it harder for the opposition to defend.
Right. Yeah. No, man. Pretty much like I said, Greg hit the nail on the head. Like pretty much like I said, in today's day and era, whatever the guy, is mojo, if you see it work in some of his natural attributes, you just let him do him. And like you said, some of the major defects that would get you hurt and killed, that's what you grip. That's what you grip on. Like guy leaning, you kind of don't want him leaning because he vulnerable for the uppercuts. Right. But sometimes like they said, Ali, he pulled his head back. That's one of the number one rules. Don't do. But Ali was so good and reflexes so good, he pulled his head back then with the right hand. So you kind of just let it flow, man. It's like a big pot of gumbo. You mixing all your ingredients and just let it flow.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
That's so true.
All right, guys.
Ali got caught with that hook against Frazier, though, right? He was smoking Joe and laying that left hook out there.
He was good enough to get up, though, from it.
That he was.
All right, so I got 5 questions for each of you, and they're going to be directed to one of you at a time. All right, and so after I ask the question,
only 5 questions.
10 total, 5 for each of them.
That's like $20 an answer, man. Hey, that's a little bit too much.
Come on, King's Promotion.
Out there, Marshall.
All right,
cut the check.
So the first question is for Rashad.
Okay.
Right? So this trainer trained arguably the best fighter in the 1970s, and then he was the trainer of another fighter who was arguably the best fighter of the 80s.
That's hard to argue the best. It's so much good. That's a hard question because there's so many good fighters.
That's easy.
But the same trainer, trainer trained both of them.
That's easy.
Emmanuel Stewart?
Nope.
No.
Tell us, Greg.
Angelo Dundee.
My man.
Well, that wasn't for you. So
no, he don't get points for it, but you didn't get any either.
All right, Greg. Well, wait. So Rashad, you know the fighters that I'm referring to, and it is arguable, but the fighters were Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard.
Right.
So I think that's pretty.
That's right. That was a tough one,
All right. So Greg.
Yeah.
This trainer trained 4 of the 5 fighters who beat Muhammad Ali. And so the fighters were Joe Frazier, Ken Norton, Larry Holmes, and Trevor Berbick. And then he also trained Riddick Bowe in a later period. Who's the trainer?
Eddie Futch.
My man.
You got it.
Hey, look, I don't know. Look, Rashad said he's already 2 up on you, G. I told him he's in trouble. He's in trouble.
See, I thought this question was gonna be about fighters, man. I really don't study trainers.
Trainers, man. Come on. That's what you are.
Right? That's why I
Fighting day's over. That was left at Bally's Casino when you fought G. Right?
Go ahead.
All right. Rashad, this is for you. So this trainer is considered one of the hottest trainers in boxing right now, and he trains the very best Mexican fighter in the world today.
Robert Garcia.
Who would you be referring to as the fighter that Garcia trained?
Well, he had multiple. He had his brothers.
Fighter today.
Mexican fighter today. Hold on.
Mikey Garcia is out of that picture.
Yeah, not. Canelo trainer. Oh shit, what's his name? Canelo trainer. I know who the Canelo trainer. What's his name? I don't know his name. Canelo trainer though. I know that's right.
You gotta give us his name, man.
Give me half a point. Canelo trainer. Half a point.
All right. It's Eddie Reynoso. No points. All right. So this one is for Greg.
You knew that, didn't you, G?
Yeah.
I knew you. Yeah.
All right, Greg.
Greg's going for a knockout. I
don't know. A couple of these are tough though for Greg.
That's what what I'm saying, Andrew. You know, they kind of tough, man.
It's tough for Greg, not for you. We made it a little easier for you.
All right, Greg. Who trained the last fighter to knock out Manny Pacquiao?
Nacho Bernstein.
Wow, that was quick. That was quick.
Yeah, that's a good. I'm a Nacho fan. I love him, man.
All right, man. I think Greg's going to take this pretty easy.
We got 3 more.
All
Me
right.
and Greg made a deal anyway. We was gonna split it and go to lunch anyway.
Greg said, man, he's got bills to pay.
All right, Rashad. So, who was James Toney's trainer when he fought Vasily Girov?
Mm.
So we're giving them easy ones, didn't we, Greg?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that fight.
10 seconds left.
Was it Freddie Roach? No. Hold up. James told me.
You got it right.
You got it right. It was Freddie Roach. And look, see, that's where that confidence comes in as a trainer, man.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if Greg gets this one.
All right, so what's the score? 1-2 right now?
It's 2-1 Greg, but he still has 3 questions left, and you only have 2.
All right, that's cool. That's cool. Greg gonna get the next one wrong.
We have an extra question for an extra 2 points.
Yeah.
All right. So Greg, this Mexican trainer got banned for illegal hand wraps.
Yeah. Mexican trainer got banned. You Mexican?
Don't be looking at that phone, G.
No, I'm on the phone. I'm using the phone. Mexican trainer got banned for hand wraps. Mexican trainer?
Mexican trainer.
Damn. I think at the same time, it might have been Nacho again.
Nope, because Nacho's still training, guys. You lost that one.
All right.
Capiello.
How
you pronounce the name? Capiello, right?
Y'all giving me all
Javier.
Spanish guys.
Nah, Javier Capiello, the one that trained Margarito. Nazim called him.
You know what's crazy? I knew who you was talking about, but I didn't know the trainer.
Right. No, I knew that was going to be a tough one. That's why we gave it to you.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yo,
I know you're up for the challenge. You know what I mean?
I think this was Greg for Hackett, man.
Come on, we see.
Let's see, Rashad. You should get this one.
He put me on the B side, man.
You about to equal it out.
We put you on the A side, man. We're giving you the easy questions. You know what I mean?
All right, Rashad. This trainer trained the middleweight champion with the most title defenses in history.
Brother Nazim. Hold up, with the most
Too late.
Bowie Fisher is
Too late. You said Brother Nazim.
Oh, that's too late. They ain't put the final. They said Bowie Fisher, Brother Nazim.
No, you said Brother Nazim.
Oh, how you gonna give me that? Yo, Bowie. The time wasn't.
Look.
Listen.
Bowie was the head trainer.
The time wasn't even up yet. I said,
No.
Brother Nazim, Bowie Fisher. The time wasn't up. Right or wrong? You gotta
say 2 answers.
They're not one
answer.
person.
You gotta make that a draw because that's the same camp.
One
Bowie
answer. Don't be a
Bowie
sore.
Fisher.
Look, don't be a sore loser, man. It ain't over yet.
I said Bowie Fisher though. I did say.
But look, you see how easy that was? We try to make it easy for you.
That's 2-2. I said Bowie Fisher.
Because you made the deal with me. We were going to split it. And man, I'm like, I can't believe it.
I did say Bowie Fisher. Y'all got to make that 2-2, man.
You're joking over here, man.
Greg Hackett. Let's go to Greg real quick. Greg, did I say Bowie Fisher too before the answer the time was up?
After you said Nazim.
You could have said Nazim, Freddie Roach. You could name 3 other ones before the time was up.
What we got?
All right, Greg. This current trainer is a former world champion. He also trained Bernard Hopkins for a few fights?
John David Jackson.
That was good.
That was good.
That was good, man.
John,
Was that 5 or was that 4?
that was 3. That was 4 for me altogether.
No, so he's got 3 out of 4 with 1 left. Rashad has I think he has 1, unless you want to give him the Bowie Fischer one and make it 2.
We'll give him a half a point for that. All right, let's go. Let's give Rashad this other easy one.
All right. So look, Greg, Rashad really mathematically can't win right now unless you allow him to tie you if he gets this one correct. And then
Well,
you
you get
got
2
still a
points.
chance.
We're going to give up 2 points for that final question.
Do what y'all gotta do, man.
All right, so look, Rashad, if you get this, you tie Greg, but then Greg still has 1 more question.
Okay.
So these famous brothers from New England trained Marvin Hagler.
Easy again.
No.
Man, come on. Who didn't watch? You watched Hagler?
Mm.
That was easy.
I'm lost on that one.
Are you lost?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Man.
I'm lost in that one. Cause let Hackett steal it.
Tell him, Greg.
I believe the name was the Picachi brothers.
Nope. Petronelli.
Petronelli. I was on a P. I was on a P.
It was close. It was
That was
close.
close. That was close.
Yeah, you're right.
Still don't count for points, but it was close.
The Petronelli brothers.
So Greg has this, so it's in the bag, but we'll see.
But let's ask that. Let's ask him that 5th question.
Yeah.
All right. So this assistant trainer and former world champion helped Tyson Fury defeat Deontay Wilder.
It's too easy. Sugar Hill.
No.
It wasn't a former
World champion? Sugar Hill, former world champion?
Oh, yeah. All right, hold on. You said he helped him?
He was an assistant.
An assistant? In the corner?
Yes, sir.
Yo, where the time at?
Hey, I'm good, ain't I? Oh my goodness, I'm good.
If it wasn't, hold on. It was, oh, fuck. It was, I remember.
I'm gonna give you another hint. He's a southpaw. He was a southpaw.
Mikey Lee.
You have the last name, right?
Andy Lee.
Andy Lee.
My bad.
All right, hey, look, Rashad, here's a bonus question that you can, hold on, what's the score? 3-1?
Right.
3-1.
3-1.5.
3-1, okay. So listen, 2 points for this bonus question, but both of you get the chance to answer it. All right. So Rashad, you might be able to win this here. Go ahead, Andrew.
Name, so Asim Rahman has been trained by many trainers. Name 5 of them.
Damn, 5?
Rashad, since you're down,
Damn.
go ahead. You get to tie it up.
5 of them.
5. That's a.
Hey, he's had 10 trainers.
Damn.
I figured I'd go a little easy on you.
Could have been anybody.
All I need is 5.
But 5. I seen Rockman.
Only 5. That's all.
I think you had parts I seen Rockman, didn't you?
I can't tell you that.
I think Marshall Kauffman. I believe you had parts of him. Was it with Bowie Fischer? Marshall Kauffman, Bowie Fischer. That's 2. Damn. I seen. So I'm drawing a blank. I'm drawing a blank too.
Yeah, that's a crazy question.
Look, go ahead, G.
All right, I'm gonna go Emmanuel Stewart, go Marshall Kauffman, I'm gonna go Freddie Roach. I'm gonna go Brother Umar from down DC, and then I'm gonna go, and then I'm gonna go Barry Hunter.
All wrong, except for me. So both of you lost that. But G, you win the contest. I'm gonna tell you 5 of them. Myself, Bowie Fisher. Okay.
Yeah, I said, boy.
All right, you said Bowie. Adrian Davis.
Oh, AD.
Yeah,
Okay, AD was with him when he knocked out Lennox Lewis.
Damn.
yeah. That's right.
Buddy McGirt
Buddy McGirt.
and Del Torrance. Del Torrance used to have him.
I wouldn't have got that. Yeah.
Yeah, so there was other ones too. I'm trying to think of who they were, but you know, Rock always will hire you and fire you. You know what I mean?
That's great.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it was good, man. And plus when he had Bowie, that's when Nas was with him as well. I mean, that's when he fought Holyfield and he had the hematoma.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hey, that was crazy.
Yeah, so yeah, no, it was good. Gee, you pulled it out. Yo, Rashad, you're slipping. You know what I mean? 2-1. We're gonna have to make some other contests. Maybe we do an exhibition or something.
It was 3-1.
I'm retired. I'm retired, man. He's still active. That's not fair.
That's my dog.
No, it was good, man. I'm telling you. So listen, who do you think, G? I mean, I heard this question asked to you before about young guys coming up. Give me 2 guys in Philadelphia who you think, in your opinion, have potential to be a world champion.
Number 1 right now, I'm gonna be totally honest. Rasheem Jefferson, little Rasheem Jefferson, I boxed him twice. I boxed him 8 rounds, and then I boxed him 6 rounds. But what I noticed in between both times is he was able to make adjustments and able to keep his head. He was still in good shape. He was using his legs. And I had to think about it. I'm like, oh, this kid is a big kid, but he fights at 122 pounds. So I think 122 pounds is going to be like, he's going to like beat the shit out of everybody in that weight class. No disrespect. I mean, no, my bad for cussing.
Right.
But I think he's going to beat everybody up in that weight. Man, he's a big kid, big, strong kid, and he's very smart. And I think the second one, of course, is going to be, without a doubt, Boots Ennis is going to be champion.
Mm-hmm.
And there's plenty more, but I'm just saying, right off the top
Those
of my
two,
head,
right.
Those 2.
Rashad.
I say Boots, definitely number 1. And another one I got, if he keep his nose clean, there's no disrespect to him, but he's so talented that if he keep his nose clean, I like Donald Smith, because he's so big for that size, southpaw, like 6 foot 6'1", fighting featherweight, and just raw talent and got the heart. So I think Donald Smith, if he, stay on the clear path, I like Donald Smith to sneak up on him, especially at featherweight, being like 6 foot 6'1", southpaw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what Donald Smith is how old?
He's young. I think Donald like 20.
Is he still young? All right.
Yeah, I think Donald might be like 25, 26 or something, I believe.
What about Scooter?
Scooter's already pro champion.
Yeah, IBO, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And he's definitely a very instinctive fighter, and he adjusts to his opponents very quick. And he's a hard worker too. He's a great fighter.
Right. I just thought about Scooter only because I saw a little video of him today when you were holding the bands.
Yeah.
The heavy bag. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he working.
Hey, one more question on the trainer situation. There was a trainer that also got kicked out, banned from boxing for tampering with the gloves. Okay. And he was also the trainer for one of the best fighters of all time who beat Alexis Arguello.
Yeah.
Who was that trainer, Rashad?
Why you trying to Blumgartner me, man?
No, it's an easy one, man.
Yeah, this is the one. They did a whole documentary on it.
Yeah, exactly. And on top of that, supposedly he gave this fighter a special mix.
Yeah.
Not the fighter that he fixed the gloves on, but another fighter. The fighter that beat Alexis Arguello.
One that I. Yeah.
Go. Who is that?
Panama Lewis, man.
Panama Lewis. Yeah.
Panama Lewis.
Yeah.
Grimy old head.
Yeah, they had the big
They-
series on him.
They did the documentary on him.
Yeah, took the padding out of the gloves.
Him and Luis Resto.
They
Yep,
did
exactly.
they did the documentary on him.
Yeah. So no, it was good. But look, Greg, you win, man. You win.
All right, what I got to do?
Yo.
I got to send my cash app.
Gotta send a Cash App. Cash App only doesn't work up here in this area.
yo, good game too, Greg. Man, good job, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. Appreciate y'all, man. Everyone.
It was fun. It was good insight. What can you tell young fighters coming up? If you had to tell them one thing on what they need to do to be able to become the best possible fighter they can be, what would you say it is?
To sum it up, I say honestly,
Yeah.
work hard. And I know it's cliche, but a lot of fighters today, they scared to push themselves to the limit, man. And if you ain't scared to push yourself to the limit and you really go on 100%, you'll beat a lot of guys that's more talented than you just off the hard work. So I'm a firm believer of hard work. You could surpass a lot of people that's been doing it longer than you.
Right.
For me, it would be if it doesn't have anything to do with your goals or where you're trying to go, they don't even bother with it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times I'm seeing guys, they put themselves in situations that they don't have to be in, and they trying to fit into crowds that they don't belong in. So, you know what I mean? If you're in the gym and you want to be a fighter, then you should be focusing on fighting, and that's it.
Right. Yeah, I would say, I mean, it's really hard just to summarize it as one thing, but listening is so key, man. And I know I've noticed that, when I was training boxers, I've noticed that, I train men and women, which I know you have too, G. I don't know if you have, Rashad, but and maybe you can testify to this, or maybe you have a different answer, G. But I found that women listen better and learn faster.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah,
Yeah, they just didn't have that mental, 90% of them just didn't have that mental toughness
That is true.
to go along with it.
Yeah, women seem to take it more serious. They want to protect themselves,
Right.
and they understand that going against maybe a man or a woman or that's more powerful, that they have to definitely learn and definitely have to work hard to be to be able to protect themselves. So what I mean, women pay attention.
Right.
I think that's so too, because I think a man, when you train a man, he got the ego, so he want to blast the pads and be strong and testosterone. And a woman just want to learn the craft, so she don't care if the punch not hard. She tat. Where the man, soon you put the pads on any guy, he throwing his hardest shot. You put the pads on a woman, she just want to do it the right way.
But man, I can get a woman learning things in 1 week, what it would take a man like a month and a half to learn. You know what I mean? It's just because they listen, and it's just their nature. They listen so much better. You know what I mean? For some reason, we're distracted. We got other things on our mind.
I think it's the ego too. Is
Yeah, I'm sure. But look, man, I enjoyed this segment with our young trainers. It's something we're going to keep doing. We're going to have different trainers coming on. We got a real good show this week, Thursday night. We got Chris Ariola coming on, along with Travis Kauffman. Of course, two of them fought, so there might be some heated words between them, but it's all love. They love each other. So for those of you tune in this week, Andrew, what do you got to say in closing?
Oh, thanks guys for coming on. I enjoyed having you, enjoyed hearing what you had to say. And I think these episodes are great, not just for, for fighters, but also for young fighters coming up to be able to hear, how you guys think about the sport and how you teach it. And I think it's a real cool perspective. And plus both of you guys are fighters yourself. So that's real cool. So thanks for coming on.
I truly appreciate it. I want to thank y'all for having us on the show too. I really appreciate it.
And one of the best things I heard Greg say was about having a passion, man. You gotta love what you do, because the minute if you don't love what you do, it's time to step off, And that's for myself. I got to the point where I had to step off from training because I didn't love it anymore. You know what I mean? And it's rough. People don't realize what trainers go through. I gotta find this poem, trainers. I'm gonna send it to each of you. But people don't realize what trainers go through when you make that commitment every day. You're in the gym every day, man. Sometimes that fighter don't show up, and you're like, "Come on, man!" You're like, "I'm in here every day for you, and you don't show up." You know what I mean? So trainers are so unappreciated. Like they're not given enough credit. You know what I mean? For what you go through. You know, for real, and I mean that. You know
what I learned too, Marshall. Not to cut you off, but what I learned too, like I think on the training aspect is so much harder too. Because I remember being a fighter, I put 1 to 2 hours in, and then I'm out. And then I realized like I put 4, 5, 6 in because when one guy done, the next guy come, and it's just like, right. Damn, man, this shit like a triple instead of just working a single. Right. You know.
You know, yeah. And for Greg, you know, I don't know with you, Rashad, because I know maybe you don't work with the amateurs as much, but I see videos of Greg working with the little kids down here. Then he's working with the pros and work. So man, it's tough. And I know for me, when I used to do pad work so much, and when I would go from different weight classes to a heavyweight, the heavyweights didn't bother me as much. The little small fast guys that were cracking, man, my elbows would be so sore. Oh my goodness. It was like, I couldn't handle it. You know, and here I was holding pads for Hasim Rockman for 2 years, you know what I mean? For my son, you know, for other heavyweights. So when I went to doing them for like welterweights like Kermit or Tarvis Sims or guys like that, man, it was rough. Or Keenan Collins, like it was a completely different feeling, you know what I mean?
I never thought about that, but that's the truth. Because when I hold the pads for B-Rob, it's kind of easy. When I go for Rashid Johnson, he throws so much punches, it'd be like, yo, man, like, go ahead, man.
Yeah, you're ready to quit.
Like, yeah, that's the truth.
Sure.
Yeah, no, it's good, man. But hey, I appreciate both of you guys for real. Thanks a lot. Man. We appreciate it, man. And keep plugging away, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you, Marshall. Thank you, Andrew. And King's Promotion.
Thank you.
Right, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate y'all.